The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven, a first-hand description of the afterlife by Suzanne Ward. Published by Matthew Books. Part 2, Nirvana. Near-Death Experience. Suzanne, I've heard from Betsy and a medium that you read Life After Life, a book about near-death experiences. Have you ever seen anyone in that situation? Matthew, yes, I read that book the last summer I was with you, and yes, I have seen many visiting souls who had been declared clinically dead. Suzanne, why is there such a great discrepancy between the wonderful near-death experiences reported and the traumatic experiences of the people you've talked about? Matthew, the glowing accounts in books come from people who are there on earth, and the report I've given you is about people who are not. The physical dying process is traumatic when the circumstances are violent, but obviously this can't be reported on earth by anyone who has experienced it. I must emphasize again that we're not talking about the transition from earth life to this realm, which is not at all frightening, but about the traumatizing circumstances prior to physical death. Mother, to thoroughly explain the difference, I need to describe the process of what you call near-death experience. The experience of a severe physical shock is met with a correspondingly severe experience in spirit. That jolting of the etheric body, but not a total disconnection from the physical body, is the signal to the soul that it has the ability to leave the physical state and travel to the realm where it knows it has been before. Not always does the person have memory of previous visits here in dream state or in supraconscious moments, but there are those unique connections of the spirit that call forth this journey of the etheric body. The souls who make this journey have that near-death experience. I have told you we know about the eminent arrivals by their distinctive and unmistakable energy blip identification mark. That same recognition is true of people in near-death experiencing. When their energy stream taps into the universal wavelengths, those who recognize it through love bonding respond instantly. That's why family members or friends in this realm and angels or other spirits are waiting for them. People in near-death experiences don't enter by way of our welcoming and hospital stations. They are greeted at a special portal where the atmosphere is custom created in accordance with their ideas of heaven. We know what to manifest because the individual's universal record is made available so that all aspects of the visit can have the maximum benefit. So, however at variance with what actually is here, the individual's belief systems decree what they will be seeing during the short visit. That expectation may include the appearance of the founder of their religion. If so, it is achieved by holographic representation, and the Christed energy of this realm emanates the love that these visitors may attribute to that founder. True, souls who make transition also are treated to their envisioned heaven upon entry. But that is a strategy for delicately introducing them into residency, and it's a temporary illusion. The personalized heavens for people with near-death experiences remain throughout their short stay to avoid presenting an actuality that could be disturbing to their psyches, which will not have time to adjust to the truth of this realm. The more highly spiritually evolved the visiting soul, the more factually nirvana is presented. Since there is no need for medical treatment or explanation of all that the realm offers residents, there are only the joyous reunion aspects during the visit. The visiting souls are completely aware of all that they have left on the earth plane, including the reason for their temporary release from physical body, and they are just as aware of all that is happening here. They are excited about seeing family members and friends whom they talk with both telepathically and in speech. Upon return to Earth, often a visitor remembers a controversy regarding whether he may or may not, well, that also can be should or should not, remain here. The decision to stay or return is solely that person's, and always it has to do with provisions of his pre-birth agreement. Most of you would have a difficult time dealing with something as unknown as a pre-birth agreement, so the discussions here are not remembered accurately, but rather are put into the context of the belief system within the person's psyche. His memories of the controversy are converted by his usual mental processes into issues he can easily relate to on Earth. Thus, his reason for returning may be remembered as a child's or spouse's or parents' need for care, or a desire to complete important personal or business affairs. Sometimes a visitor is eager to go back and make amends for what he realizes during his visit was wrong treatment of others. And even though he won't remember any discussions of that sort, the desire remains once back on Earth, and he acts upon it. The decision to return is not always without influence from others. Council members, the guardian angel, or family members and friends who wish to help the visitor understand the seriousness of choosing to curtail major agreement provisions, present cognate arguments against his remaining if he hasn't fulfilled those provisions. Those who see the larger picture of his lifetime mission advise so warmly and lovingly that usually he willingly returns to Earth. But as I said, once back there, those discussions are totally lost to his conscious memory. Suzanne, why can't they remember their experiences as they really happened? Matthew, once back in the third density of Earth, they simply are not capable of awareness beyond their physical realities. Even though their dramatic and impressive spiritual experiences here impart some memory or interpretation intact, the full scope of what happened is forgotten in the density of their bodies. What determines whether experiences will be remembered clearly, partially, incorrectly, or not at all, is not left up to chance. It's according to the laws of physics. It is the conversations, the scenes, the sense of timing that aren't remembered accurately. Those aspects are mental and require a similar mechanism for authentic memory. In this realm, the visitor is operating within our fourth density in all ways. Returning to Earth is a return to third density faculties, which are incapable of comprehending at fourth density level. There simply cannot be accuracy when mental faculties are downloaded from fourth to third density. Thus, the heavier density of flesh traps the experiences, and the exactness of what happened is lost to the conscious memory. What is retained is the sensation of love, the brightness of the light, the feelings of bonding, and the desire to be in this familiar place. Those are never lost or distorted because they are faculties of the soul. not mental processes dependent upon the operation of the third density brain or the psyche. The soul-level assimilation of the sensations is not distorted. Therefore, the feelings attached to the visitor remain totally accurate. Suzanne, how can those visitors be convinced that what they remember isn't exactly what they experienced? Matthew, if you're asking for proof of the actual happenings, I don't know how that could be provided during the person's Earth lifetime because the only proof is here. The visit is recorded in his life print in the Akashic records, exactly as it happened, as well as how he remembered it, and both versions will be part of the life review process. Also, the people who talked with him will accurately remember what transpired, and when those same souls meet after that person's transition, they can attest to the actual happenings. But the ultimate proof is this. After transition, eventually, he will have totally clear and complete memory of that brief visit, and also the knowledge that his memories after returning to Earth were faulty. No other confirming source will be necessary. Suzanne, but still, those people don't know the truth during the rest of their life here. Matthew, is that necessary, Mother? Isn't it enough for them to cherish the memories they have of their wondrous experience? Their sensations are valid, their feelings about those sensations are vital, and the experiences themselves bring wisdom essential for the individual's spiritual growth. Suzanne, you're right, Matthew. Is a person who wants to stay there ever permitted to do that? Matthew, yes, that can happen. Amendments to the pre-birth agreement can be made during the visit. If most of the provisions have been fulfilled and divine grace allows foregoing the remainder, then the physical body of that person simply dies and the soul in its etheric body stays here. Suzanne, is the sensation of being pulled through a dark tunnel toward a bright light the same for people making transition as it is for those in near-death experiences? Matthew, I don't know. I didn't have a near-death experience, so I don't have a personal comparison, and I haven't talked with anyone who has. At least, not that I was aware of, but I suspect that there would be some difference in the sensation. In near-death experiencing, the temporary parting of the physical and etheric bodies is not a complete disconnection, whereas the etheric body permanently leaves the physical body of the transitioning soul. The closeness of the two bodies cannot be underestimated. In either transition or visit, that lightning-fast journey never is difficult or frightening because of the transitional light energy. Suzanne, is a near-death experience a prevision of a pre-birth agreement? And what is the ultimate value of the experience? Matthew, it's not necessarily a provision, but it is related to the agreement. It is a dramatically influential occurrence, and rarely do those people who experience it return to their exact previous style of living. When the experience is called for in a pre-birth agreement, it is the same as with all other karmic lessons, for specific learning. When the experience is not a provision, then it's seen by the spirit helpers as a necessary stimulus to get the soul-level behavior back on his lifetime track chosen in the agreement. As for ultimate value, the profoundness of the experience heightens the person's awareness of his soul connection with God.